Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe SI Interview. Heute bei mir Howard Verrico, CEO und Chairman von Sirona, und heute ist eine Spezialausgabe. Ich habe meine Abonnenten gefragt, was ich fragen soll, und deswegen arbeiten wir jetzt diese Fragen auf. Howard, thank you for your time. And before we start, as I said, this is a special interview. Then we only talk about question what I get from my subscribers. And but before we start with the question, this afternoon, a few minutes ago, a news release coming out that you announced a strategic equity investment. So you make a private placement with 40 cents with a strategic investor. Is it right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct, yes.
Can you say which investor this is?
Well, there's actually a group of investors that are based in Asia, who we've been working with, and who have been very helpful for us, and who we will be working with further in the future. And they've been very interested in having a equity position within Sirona, and we decided it's in the interest of both parties that we proceed with an equity investment. So we just announced this private placement. We're very pleased. We're very excited about this. It's certainly at a much higher level than our last financing, and it's beneficial to the shareholders of Sirona. It helps us in cash our financial status going forward, and it brings people that are very helpful to Sirona. It aligns them with the interest of our shareholders.
Mm-hmm. So that means also we can expect that the closing will coming soon.
Very quickly.
Okay. Yes. That brings me to some question, and one of the question is, and I will jump in directly with this Asia. One question was, are you any plans to reach Chinese investors, roadshow in China, for example, also?
Well, we actually have been in touch with investors based in China for some time now, and we're in regular dialogue. They have a longer due diligence period. They need to better understand our company, what we're doing. So we keep in touch with them, and as we deliver and achieve the things that we say that we're going to do, we're developing some confidence from them, and I anticipate over time we are going to develop an increasing base of investors out of China and out of Asia in general.
Can they invest directly from China out through the Canada market, or how to do it?
A lot of these people that we're talking to have investment arms based out of Hong Kong, mm-hmm. and they're able to invest internationally. Mm-hmm. So they're I mean, not every investor within China can invest in Sirona. That's obviously true, but the people we're talking to have the means and to do so.
Okay. So that was China. Coming to the most popular product of you is the skin liner, and here I have some question from my people, and one of the question is, how easy would it be for a Chinese company to analyze Sirona's successful skin liner, copy it, and bring their own similar product to the market?
Okay, so the process of analyzing it wouldn't be difficult. However, the process of manufacturing it is not so easy. We have developed a efficient manufacturing process, but that process there's a lot of work to develop that process, and that's a proprietary knowledge, and we guard that very carefully. There's a lot of companies that manufacture within China, large pharmaceutical companies. Global-based companies do a lot of their manufacturing within China and do so successfully without having their products copied or mimicked in the market. So there's always that risk, but you have to be aware of that risk and you take the necessary actions. We are patented, so we're patent protected within China. We have a very specific process which would take a lot of effort to reproduce, and we guard that. So we have to be careful who you do business with, who the manufacturers are, and if you're careful, you can mitigate that risk and make it very minimal. It's also a very large market. If there's anyone were to mimic our product, the impact would not be overtly detrimental to our company.
Okay. Second question. The existing skin lighter use, or the powerful skin lighter use hydroquinone?
Hydroquinone, yes.
Hydroquinone.
Yes.
Has Sirona been the only company to produce a formula without these substances, cancerogenic substances? Are there other suppliers who produce skin lighters with are not toxic to the health? Are not toxic to the health. So.
Yeah, there are a large number of skin lighteners available on the market currently, and the ones which are safe have a low efficacy. Basically, they have the ones which have a good safety profile tend to have a low effectiveness. The ones which are very effective appear to be associated with some form of toxicity. Hydroquinone has a concern regarding its potential carcinogen. Other skin lighteners which are effective are skin irritants or skin sensitizers, so to come out with one which is truly effective and safe is what we claim is what's so unique about our TFC 1067.
Can you say which factor you are more efficient than the one that have a poor efficiency?
Sorry, what's your question?
You say they are not toxic products that really have a low efficiency. So yours is safe, and how high is your factor that you are more efficient?
We haven't done clinical trials to every possible compound. That would be very cost prohibitive, but we chose the gold standard for our clinical trial was hydroquinone. So, and we've got a lot of in vitro data, so we're very confident that we have a superior product, both efficacy and safety, and we have lots of data to support that.
Now we come into a question: there are how many interesting parties in the skin lighters are already. So the question is: have any interested party in the skin lighter already left or are left the table or are still on board, and how many, if he may, or how many you talk?
Yeah, so we're talking to a number of companies, and a number of companies at all different levels of interest. Some have asked to see specific more development milestones be achieved, and we've done that. The clinical trial, we're actually establishing the manufacturer. We're going to have with Rodan and Fields an actual product, a consumer product. Each of these achievements brings more parties to the table and alleviates their hurdles to making a partnership with us. So we are definitely ongoing discussions with a number of companies and a number of companies we've already talked to that we're looking for further milestones. As we achieve those, they'll be coming back to conversation with us. So we are very pleased with how our BD is going currently, and we anticipate it just to continually ramp up as we proceed.
So one question about India and Africa. India and Africa are huge markets. Don't the inhabitants like skin lighters? Yes,
definitely. India in particular is a market that's of great interest to us. We are patent protected for India. We have not ventured into that market at this time. I think that once we develop more traction in China and in the U.S., and then we will be able to devote more resources to look at commercializing within India. Now the African market is a bit more difficult. The typical products there are of a very low cost of goods, and there's a very large consumer use of ingredients which are safe but toxic. Very high dose hydroquinone is commonly used, bleaching agents are commonly used, and even compounds as toxic as mercury are used. So it's very hard for us to enter that market where there's a low expectation on safety. Safety doesn't seem to be as big an issue there as it does in other markets. And so we haven't really focused any efforts on Africa.
Mm-hmm. So now we will come to regulatory question. What is the timeline to grant for TFC 1067 approval in China and other countries, or in US and so on? Yeah.
So the US is a relatively short process. With our agreement that we are finalizing with Rodan and Fields, that's a task that they will undertake. They don't seem to be bothered at all by this process. It's never been a big topic of discussion. The processes for China, we're working through that currently. We have consulted with experts on that matter and are moving that process forward. It's difficult to give an exact time on some of these processes because they vary from company to company, particularly what concerns may or may not exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will expand a little bit the question and go more also to other product types. In the last shareholder letter, you talk also about using the TFC 039 for animals, cats and dogs, and also how the approval process looks like for cosmetic. I know exactly on the German billboards there are a lot of discussions about the cosmetic and how the approval works on the cosmetic side.
Yeah. Well, as far as the animal for use of TFC 039 for animal treatment of diabetes, there is a process. It's not as intense as for a therapeutic in humans, but there is still a fairly rigorous process that has to be followed, and that would require a big partner. And so to do that, which is definitely some of that timeline would be reduced because some of the data already obtained by Wabang for entering their clinical trials for humans use can also be used in for animal care use, that preclinical work. So some of that timeline will be shortened by that process. The timeline for cosmetic agents, it varies really tremendously from country to country. Each country has its own process. Much of the work has already been, or the vast majority of the work has already been done for the U.S. and Canadian markets and Australian markets. There's very little work that needs to be done to finish the application process. As I said, that's Rodan and Fields is in charge of that. And for the other markets, there's different. Each country has its own process, so you have to work within that country, and you have to navigate how best to do that. As a foreign company, it's best if you do that with support from local companies. So the process, and you have to hire people who have expertise and can navigate the process. Which we're doing.
Okay. Then is a logical another question is when do we expect a deal with a Chinese company for 1067?
Well, we're actually very actively working on obtaining a manufacturing site within China. So that process is underway, and we're finalizing the cost of goods and just to finalize the deal terms. We have a distributor which we have a strong relationship with, and so a distribution deal should not take long to complete.
Mm-hmm. So one question about the profit margin. What is the gross profit margin or what can we expect for the production of the cream, the product?
Yeah, well, that's there's definitely a healthy profit margin. It depends, of course, what you're actually selling. Are you selling the raw ingredient, or are you selling a formulated ingredient? And we're looking at various options and maybe a combination of options. So the profits, you're gonna have a varying range of profits, and depending on what you're exactly selling and to how you're going to sell it, through what sales channel you're going to use. So that's a difficult question to answer. It's definitely going to be a healthy profit.
Mm-hmm. Then is one question here. Will the Chinese large cosmetic distribution company still want to invest in Sirona? If so, in what form?
Yeah, so we've had that discussion, and yes, there's definitely an interest, but the timeline of that, they'll feel more comfortable when we actually finalize a distribution agreement and get a the actual product ready to sell. That seems to be their milestone for making an equity investment. There's definitely a high level of interest, and I think that there's an excellent probability that will occur. They feel awkward making that until we finalize all our agreements, and they obviously don't want to make an equity position until we've established a firm footing on our relationship.
Mm-hmm. So this is not the Chinese investor or Asian investor, but invest now in what you published today, this press release.
No, that's correct.
Okay. I was a little bit surprised when we talk about the skin layer that no question coming up with your existing or letter of intent, what you announced a few weeks ago with Roden and Fields, that no question coming about this. So I must ask the question: how looks the process going forward since the announcement of the press release?
Well, we're in the process of drafting the definitive agreement. A draft has been produced. It's been back and forth. Neither party has any material concerns. We're just working on the finalizing of the wording. There's been a few delays. We had July 1st was Canada's birthday, and July 4th was a national holiday in U.S. So there's been some delays, and we're in the summertime, but there's no issues in the agreements. It's all moving forward. Mm-hmm. I was having conversations as recently as yesterday.
Mm-hmm. What we can expect from this deal? I know exactly they are really big in North America, but there also looks like that they are now going to Australia, and it looks like that they also switch over to Japanese market. So what we really can expect, when can we expect the first product and so on?
Yeah, well, I'm getting the final answers on that from them. They are definitely a very large entity within Canada, U.S., and Australia, and they are definitely looking to expand within Asia. And when they bring out a new product, it's a major undertaking, because they develop the packaging, the marketing. When they launch, it launches to big sales right off the bat. It's not a gradual rollout. So it's a big process for them to launch a new product. It's not just so they spend a lot of effort on the ideal formulation and their ideal packaging and the ideal marketing plan. It's a big process, and they've developed a lot of resources to this. So mm-hmm. They're well dedicated to the process. They've already developed a lot of time and energy.
Mm-hmm. When can we expect the final product? So after the sign of the agreement, so how long it will take?
Yeah, that I can't give you a date on right now. I don't think they want me to disclose that right now. But there's still a fair bit of work to do on their end because of all these other steps as I discussed. They have these product launch window. So usually a product has a cycle. So each mm-hmm. product has a cycle, and then they have a time. So we're going to bring out a new skin lightener. So they have there's not just the question about getting the regulatory approval and finishing the formulation. So these launches are a big event for the company. Rodan and Fields usually only launches 1 or 2 new products a year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we're set for this is their next big launch. So they're gearing up for it. The exact date of the launch I can't tell you at this time.
Okay, perfect. So there's the last question through the whole area of Skinlighter. An investor would be interesting when an article in the Science journal will coming up from the Skinlighter. This was promised a few months ago. I cannot remember but he read this.
Yeah. Well, our goal is our clinical trial, which was very successful. We are in the processes of preparing that for a publication in a major dermatology journal, and so there's that Zoe Drelos, Dr. Drelos, who conducted the clinical trial, has drafted the article. It's been back and forth edited, so it's going through the process so we can get it published in a major journal. So that's underway.
Okay, that's underway.
It's unfortunately it's a big process. It takes time. Because it's a scientific article.
So here's some general question. Can Howard be a little bit more specific here? That was was from the press release from the 20th of June, and there was we are also in advanced discussion with a large new project with a global corporation that we hope to share with you in the Q4.
Yes.
What this mean?
Well, it's exactly as it's stated in the news release. Unfortunately, we always have this same problem. We've had this problem. We're a small company. We are doing partners with very large global corporations. They don't always want everybody to know exactly what they're up to, what their latest project is going to be, and for competitive reasons. And to them, this is not material for their multi-billion-dollar corporations to align a blow-by-blow account of what they're doing in their R&D and new product lines. But to us, it's obviously a major importance. So we unfortunately aren't always able to fully disclose everything that we're doing behind the scenes in the business development. So that's frustrating. Our shareholders want us to know that we're busy and we're active, and that we're bringing new deals to Sirona, and so we feel that we need to know that we are actually busy and are actually having success. But then, unfortunately, we're limited in the details, so it's always that frustrating situation. And this is one of those. Is we're very excited, and we will share more details as soon as we can. But it's just to let the shareholders know that yes, there's more good things to come.
Okay. Can you say in which area it goes? Is it also Skinlighter, or is it anti-aging, or is it diabetes?
It's in a therapeutic area.
Okay.
So it's not a cosmetic.
Okay. So there's a question. Sirona has a strong growing opportunity, or has strong growing opportunities. 7 new developments are in the pipeline. Several deals need to complete it soon. Why can we not see any job vacancies on your website? Is Sirona able to copy all this extended growth with the existing stuff?
Well, there's always a very slow turnover in the lab. One of our scientists recently moved away from the area and left TF Chem. We hired a new scientist to replace that person. So the actual, I'm not sure how they find their scientists, but they don't do it via advertising on the website. They have their own networking ways of doing it. We definitely, and a lot of our lab work is also outsourced. So we're working with Rowan for the scale up. We're doing other testing with other companies. So there's multiple other companies too. So part of we expand and grow through outsourcing a lot of the very specialized work. Will we likely hire a new technician or a new, in the next year? More than likely. indefinitely, and we have the capability within our lab to expand within the current structure. We also have the ability to expand upon the structure. It was designed specifically for that purpose.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is similar to the question, or I think this answered also the next question, is also to have any plan to expand the lab in France.
Yeah, well, we can definitely add personnel within our existing facility. That we have room. We were very fortunate that way that we've built a nice size facility, and it's designed actually for easy to expand upon. So when we get to that stage, we can expand the size of the facility.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, the next question we answered already. It was the Chinese investor that come to my mind. With Ron Fields, you have maybe also, or that the US investors are more interested in your stock too. Do you have any plans or specific plans for the US investors?
Well, we don't have a U.S. listing. I think as the company grows and as we add more licensing deals to the company, and as our market cap and share price improve accordingly, as I anticipate it will, then we can look at other listing possibilities. And it's difficult to expand in the U.S. with a Canadian listing. We list on the TSX Venture. If we had a U.S. listing, I think that would be very positive for the growth of the company. But you have to do so on a position of strength. I think we're nearing that position. I don't think we're quite there yet, though.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then is here a question to 2014 report and L'Oreal filed a patent that activate ingredients of Sirona anti-aging. And the question is now: is there still a relationship with L'Oreal? You're still in process to do this, or how far is the process at this point?
Well, so that's an interesting question. So Geraldine Delancourt, our Chief Scientific Officer, has been working on this anti-aging project for most of her career. And before she even formed TFChem, she was working for another company. She developed her first generation of these anti-aging compounds. And it was these compounds that L'Oreal filed a use patent. We have subsequently developed a new generation of anti-aging compounds, which are been patented and protected under Sirona's control. L'Oreal is not able to circumvent our patents and file a use patent on these particular compounds. So, L'Oreal is very well aware of the work of Dr. Geraldine Delancourt, and one day we may work with them. Well, time will tell.
Okay, so there is no relationship between L'Oreal and Sirona at the moment. And no. This was past work.
Past work.
Okay. So then I have my two last questions, and this is about the CFO. A question about the insider sales of the CFO. The sales took place before the news Q&A, and it is the second sale within 2 months. And maybe we can answer the question then together. Why is the CFO now working for other companies than Sirona? Is he not fully involved in Sirona?
Yeah, he is definitely fully involved in Sirona. We run Sirona 7 days a week. He's available from morning till late in the evening. We're in touch every day. We don't work Monday to Friday 9 to 5. So that's just our style. That's our whole team is like that. We contact from early morning till late in the evening. He's always been available and always delivers what I need of him on time. So, but typical of many CFOs that work in the Vancouver area, they often work for a number of companies. The other company that was news released is a small mining company. There's very little work for him to do. It's a very, very much a part-time responsibility, and it in no way is interfering with his work he's doing for Sirona. He asked me about this, and I sanctioned it, and I have no regrets. It has had no impact whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Now he had some personal debt he had to sort out, and the same thing happened with our Chief Scientific Officer Dr. Geraldine Delancourt. She had a personal financial need. She didn't want to sell any of her founding shares. She's never ever sold a share. So instead she exercised and sold some stock options, preserving her entire share position. And both Chris and Geraldine came to me and said that, listen, they have these needs, and I said that's fine, because they both have large positions and are fully committed to the company. These are not major exiting strategies for either party.
Mm-hmm. So they wait for the big lift.
Everybody's waiting, including myself.
Oh, perfect, and me too. So that's all the question what I get from my subscribers. Thank you to answer it, and good luck. And hopefully we see very interesting press releases in the near future.
We have lots of news to come. You'll definitely be seen.
That sounds good. Ja, das war's vom Sirona-Interview. Ich glaube, dass alle Fragen, gut beantwortet worden sind. Und ja, wie er das schon sagt, viele News kommen noch. Das war's auch schon wieder. Ich wünsche einen schönen Abend noch und wir hören uns in Kürze. Howard, thank you for your time. Good evening and good luck.
Thank you.